Well, hey there, friend. Step right in and grab a figure, and welcome to the Pret Pool Channel. Here at the Pret Pool Channel, let's talk about the new action figure I got. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Maybe you might like how it looks, or maybe how it moves with its joints, or maybe you like the stuff it comes with. But no pressure, my friend. Just enjoy the show today, right here at the Pret Pool Channel. So go on and give us like, or be bold and click subscribe. After all, it's a free ride to the Pret Pool Channel.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you for clicking on my video. Today we're going to do a review from Xesray. This is called Hildr. This is a figure that recently came out. There was a WonderCon type thing going on in, I believe it was Japan, in which this figure came out there first, and then by the end of October, beginning of November, that's when this figure started shipping out from there from China, and not Japan, China, and then came to over here to the States. So I had pre-ordered this figure earlier this year. Been anticipating this figure all year. I've been wanting a really good barbarian type action figure of a female. So she seemed like to fit the bill, and we're going to see if she does or not. So let's start off with the accessories to get that out of the way. She comes with this dagger or knife. So it's just, it has like a leather strap, nice silver blade. Then at the end, a little blade there, so just a little extra oomph for, a little stabby there if she wants. And there is a place to put it. She does have a sheath in the back, so you put that in here. It's a nice tight fit. The blade is kind of, it's a little rubbery, not much. Not as bad as a sword. It's the flex on it, so you don't have to worry about breaking it. So it's not a bad consistency as far as the blade. So let's go and put this in, and it's a nice tight fit. You don't have to worry about it falling out. At least on mine is not loose. So we have that. You do have here her sheath or her sword. It comes as a separate piece, and then you have to plug it in. Now it's a little bit of a pain to do so. So I was able to finally put it in. So that's why I do not have it off of her to put in that, back in. I don't want to go through all that hassle. But it is nice detail. It's got like a gold, it's got brown, then it has like kind of like a dark black. So it's a very nice designed sheath for her sword. And then here's her sword that will go in there. And also it's very nice. Has a loop at the end here. Brown wrap, nice silver. This one it's a little bendy, not too bad, but you don't have to worry about breaking it. But it's not flimsy as far as like compared to say like a Hasbro gun or anything like that. And the way it's packaged, it doesn't come in warped, so it's nice and straight. All right, and again for sheath, goes in there nice, does not come off. So we don't have to worry about that. Other accessories that she comes with, as far as weapons, she does have 2 more weapons. She does have a short axe. Again, it's very nice silver, got some wraps, very barbaric, very either barbaric, Viking type looking weapon. So we do have this. And then she has a long axe on the staff, similar blade, so forth, gold tip here. So very nicely done. I really love the way Xesray does their weapons, very realistic looking. So we got that. She has her helmet, and this is very pliable, very rubbery, but it's got awesome details. So it's got details, it's got nice paint tab, a nice wash. I have no complaints about this helmet. Really nice. I really like the way they did it. And notice she has a hole on the top of her head. this does not have a peg. It doesn't need it for this, so you just put it over. It's a nice fit, upside down, and it doesn't come off. All right, so very nice. Now, what I like about Xesray, they don't do really the whole head swap thing unless it's like with some of the gladiators, they have like helmeted heads that do not cover the heads. But for the most part, they just have swap as far as like you take this off, okay? Now you think, well, why does she have the hole on top of her head? If you don't own this figure, you may wonder why, or don't have any of the prior female ones. Well, she does have another set of hair. So you can have her like this if you want, or you can add more hair to get that more volume. Look at that. So you can go either ways, and again, you get more sculpt, you get more detailed braids, etc. So it's really nice what they did here. See? And what I like about this is that unlike G.I. Joe, for example, if you look at CoverGirl, Lady J, if you take off their headpieces, they're bald and they have like an ugly peg left over. So you really don't can use that one with those figures without it. So let me, for example, here's CoverGirl, right? So it's nice you can have the swap with the heads and the hair, but if you take off the hair, for example, in this one, let's see, there we go, you get this nasty looking little peg, right? You can't leave her without it. She has to have either the hat or the hairs, etc. So then you have your pegs there. So what Xesray did, like we just saw, they already have sculpted hair, so she's never bald or have an ugly peg. Yeah, she has that little hole on the top of her head, but it's not like a huge gapping thing, in my opinion. At least my point of view, it's not. She does have that, but if you look at her this way, you don't see it. You don't see it. Don't see it. All right. She just has a couple of more accessories, and those are just her hands and her feet. So she comes with 2 fists, same colors of skin of the rest of her body. She comes with 2 spread out hands. So if you ever have like crouching down or pushing someone or slapping someone, you can have these hands to do that. And then I already got like 1 hands of each of this. So she will have 2 gripping hands. Okay, so this would be her left hand. She already has her right hand on. And then she has a more like relaxed hand, which is like, might be for holding an item. I usually like using this hand for her, like putting a shield, which she does not come with, but if you have an extra shield from another line, you can put it on her. And she does have also bare feet. So why does she come with bare feet? These are some nice feet though. Okay. Why does she come with bare feet? Because basically everything you see on her is removable. So you can take her feet off, change it to bare feet. These boots come off too. These shin guards come off, and there'll be bare leg there. This comes off. You can take that off. All this comes off too. If you take the hands off, this slips off. So that's on her biceps. All these items, even her top piece is removable. So this comes off. Necklace, etc. So even like if you go here, her underwear is removable. Now all this is pretty good for those who are customizers, who wish to perhaps redesign her, make a different character, put different armor pieces perhaps that they get from other characters of the line, etc. Or just make their own from different lines. So it's good for customizing. You can like pop, say for example, her arms off, and then you can do again more customizing. She with prior figures with Xesray, I was always afraid to pop things off because they were really tight, and also like the plastic was kind of like less. This is kind of like a little bit like rubbery, while the other ones were more like harder plastic, and they cracked and broke easier if you wanted pop and swap. They improved the parent seams so far with the quality of the plastic, so you can do the pop and swap. So I think their intention is to be similar to Mythic Legions or Four Horsemen, to be able to customize these figures to how you like. So that is nice. So if they come up with barbaric female accessory packs, etc., you can do that with her. Other accessories before we get into articulation. If you notice here, she has like a smaller like cloak type thing out of fur, and the way they did it, they got these like pinned clips here, so you would just press it in here and clip it on, and you'll have, say, on her neck or on her waist, however you want to use this fur covering. So this is a smaller one. I like using this one on top of her, the shorter one. Or again, if you want to use this around her waist and then have this longer one sitting over her neck, which also has the same thing, that you can just clip these on around her neck and have a longer version. Now this looks very well done as far as the stitching and so forth. However, this is soft goods. This, handled with care, I would say. I'm not saying this is flimsy or, it seems really good quality, but, again, it's small clothing. I would just not go every 5 minutes, keep taking on and off, whatever, playing around, whatever. I think eventually you're going to rip something, or the buttons will come off, etc. Just something to have in mind. But it is very high quality in my opinion. So articulation, she can't really go too far back as far as looking, and that's because of the hair. Even though the hair is not super stiff, it's kind of like rubbery, but again, it's still going to push forward her neck. Looking down, she looks quite a bit. She can get a little attitude to the sides. That's pretty cool. So there's that T-pose over the arms. Okay, she doesn't have a bicep swivel, so this is kind of, again, like a Mythic Legions, single jointed elbows. Okay, so it goes like this. So it goes a little bit over, it goes over 90 degrees for a single elbow, which is pretty good. And she still has this on, so if I take this off, I'm sure I can go even further if I take off her bracer. So that's still really good. She has a slight butterfly. It's not really that tremendous. If you put it back, you might get some decent range back before. You don't get a whole crazy amount, but she can still dual wield weapon. So her arm just popped off here. So yeah, that popped off. So now I have to now put it back in. So this first time that happened to me where it popped off, me having her a couple of days already. There we go. So it's back in, no issue. But again, with prior figures of this line, the issue was that joint would break. At least now it doesn't. Again, single jointed knees, elbows. As far as her joint here, so she has one of those where it's like, you can move this around, so her hands can go up and down, left and right, etc., in and out. So I always like those type of joints more. She can move back. She does have an upper torso joint there. She does not have a waist swivel or joint here, so she just has just the top. She can do T-pose up to there. She does have double jointed knees. Now, due to the boots and whatever this item she has here does get in the way a little bit, so I'm sure if I was to take the boot off and this, it will go just a little bit further in. Her foot was conducted pretty well. even though this is here, goes decent enough. And she does have a rocker. Now, aside from the articulation and the items she comes with, I love on her, she has all these accessories already on her. As I mentioned before, they're removable, but they're very nice painted, very nicely detailed. So that's another thing about Xesray. They are very good as far as sculpting and paint work, and none of it like rubs off. At least mine does not rub off or anything like that. So it's really awesome. And her facial expression, I'm good with. It's neutral, but there is some kind of like, you can feel like she has some kind of anger or some kind of like concentration there. It's not just, it's not like a boring stare, I always say. So I like what they done here. So it's very well done. All right, so let's do some comparisons. Let's put her there. Put her a little bit further back. There we go. And for that, we're going to compare to other figures that have been from this line. Another from a prior wave. This is the trainee gladiator from Xesray also. Okay, so that's how she compares. And then we have another female from the same line. And she is more, again, of a Roman. I forgot her name. Oh, man, I had it just a minute ago. Just remember, but now I forgot. All right, so she is not the exact same buck as the prior one. She does have similar things, but she is shorter. So she has like, her legs seems to be thicker. There seems to be a little shorter. But again, there's been some differences as far as from, I believe the females for this one came on the third wave. I think she's on the fourth or fifth right now. So, but there's like 3 years difference between these two figures. So just to have that in mind. Now Berenice. Yes, I think her name is Berenice. They are coming like a version 2 with the same after her. I'm not planning to get that one. I'm happy with this version, but there is like a purple new character female that's coming out. I did pre-order her. All right, so let's get them out. Continuing with the females from Oaktown. Here we have this female elf. There we go. And Red Sonja from Boss Fight Studios. Okay. A little messed up neck there. Let's see. Let's straighten Sonja a little bit and less weird looking. Okay. And last comparison, let's put her with some barbarians. Let's put here from Mythic Legions, Custom Barbarian. And let's put here Varnock, I believe his name was, from Savage Crucible. So she's going to be part of this crew. And I would say that she fits very well with Savage Crucible. So until they release their own female warriors, Xesray for me seems to be fitting the bill quite well. So yeah, definitely really happy with this figure. Again, I've been anticipating her for almost, since the beginning of this year, and finally have her in hand. I am not disappointed after the wait. I highly recommend her. She is definitely a fun figure to have, and I like it because, yeah, some may say, some people may view that, she's sexualized, whatever. I don't think, look at her that way. She seems like a very regular woman from that time period. Maybe a little fantasized as far as, being a war, the weapons and all that stuff, whatever. But I think, the way Xesray's handled the females is kind of very, I see it as respectful to women. You got the male warriors, bare chested and this and that, blah blah blah. But I think this it was done tactfully, in my opinion. Hopefully, you see it the same way. But everyone to their own. You're entitled to your own view. If you feel this is way too, I don't know, too sexualized, whatever. That's you're right to your opinion. I just don't view it that way. So, anyways, great figure. Highly recommended. And if you're into this type of barbaric Viking era, definitely recommend. Thank you for clicking on my video. If you're wondering where I got her from, I got from 5K Toys. I had pre-ordered her from there, and they were pretty quick in shipping her. So just I don't know if they have her in stock as of the filming of this video, but you may want to shop around and see where you can get the best deal for her if she's still available. The price is decent. I think she was like about $60-ish. These figures, especially like the ones that are convention exclusive type things or rare, within a year or two you can expect to double, almost triple as far as pricing. In some cases, they've gone in the 200s because they're highly sought out. So if you like this type of figures and you're on the fence, this is one of those figures you don't want to sit on, because if you try to get her later, you're going to be paying most likely a higher price. So just FYI. All right, thank you for again watching my video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, or just come by and see my videos again down the future. I got a couple of other videos, several videos that I've recorded for reviews and other content. So just take a look in my library and see if anything there piques your interest, and please like or subscribe those videos if you see anything there. All right, take care. See you later. Enjoy collecting. Bye bye.